The Purge movie series review. Before we get into talking about the series, I'd just like to state for the record, I will be suing Universal Pictures for copyright infringement. Because when I was 8 years old, I was the one who originally wrote the story about a holiday where there was no rules. Except my version didn't focus on violence, it focused on fun stuff like shoplifting and cussing at teachers and kissing girls, cool stuff like that. But I am glad to see this concept make it into the theater because a lot of people now consider this to be one of the best concepts in movie history. So you're welcome for that.
Purge series review. This was a tough thing to get through. Like you said, it was very tough to narrow it down very hard. And as you alluded to, this is put over as one of the best concepts in movie history. I personally agree with that because it's a whole intriguing thing they have going on here where anyone can get away with anything for 12 hours. Personally, from the first one all the way up until the second one, this generally evolved very well. It's like the Fast and the Furious series. It gets better with time and with each sequel.
I think everyone can agree the worst Purge movie of all time has to be the original. This is the one that took my idea of a holiday where there's no laws and didn't do anything with it. Instead, we focus on a family that wants to completely avoid the purge to where that whole purge concept gets treated like a subplot for a home invasion angle. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is the story they go for is about a kid that wanted to protect a homeless man from being killed for no reason. Now, on paper, that sounds like a decent idea that at least shows that there is some good in a world of evil. The problem was, the way it was executed made the kid look like a complete idiot who was willing to sacrifice his entire family for the sake of a homeless man. That didn't make him likable at all. If anything, that made me want to see him get killed for being so damn stubborn by trying to hide the bum when he knows that the lives of his family are on the line. And as bad as all of that was, I might have been able to forgive it, except for the fact that the dad ends up getting killed. But aside from all of that, I did still have some fun with this movie. If this was just its own home invasion thriller movie, it makes for a decent time waster. But if you go to watch this movie just for that Purge concept, you're gonna despise this film.
Yes, the original Purge comes in as the worst movie in this series. And just like you and everyone else, I had the same problem in that they didn't do much with this awesome concept they had going. I mean, this turned into your basic home invasion type of stuff. Another problem I had with this was there was no characters that you could really get behind. I mean, you had the douchey father, you had the idiot mother, the idiot son, the hot idiot daughter. Like the only one that you could really get behind was the homeless guy. We never even got an explanation behind why the little kid was trying to save the bum for so long, and he tried so hard to do it. Like, Jesus, if this kid applied as much brains into hiding this bum as he would have to try and stop the polite leader, maybe, just maybe, the father wouldn't have gotten indicted and the idiotic neighbors would have never gotten in. When the father gets indicted, you just like, it's like the family's just like, oh, he's dead. Wait, is the bum okay? Oh my God, don't kill him. I personally think that the character that stole the show here was the polite leader. And I think he played the heel role pretty damn well. I wish they hadn't killed him off. I wish they would have kept him for the second one, because now that I've seen the second one, it's like I think he would have played an awesome role there somewhere. He was still a really likable character because he was so nice about how he went about his stuff. He gave them a chance to give up the bum. Like you said, for whatever freaking reason, they decided that the bum was more important than their family's health and well-being. Well, damn. I sure as hell hope that that bum can provide that shelter and protection for that family once the purge is over. You know, aside from that, like you said, I liked the movie. I just think that they could have done so much more. This was an enjoyable film. as long as you turned your brain off. This kind of reminded me of TNA in a certain sense.
To go out on a limb and say that the best Purge movie of all time has to be Purge Anarchy. This is the one that finally did it right. You have a group of strangers caught outside in the middle of the purge trying to survive the night. The only nitpick that I have about this one is that the environment didn't feel as chaotic as I expected it would. You would expect with a holiday like the purge, there would be people all over the streets, breaking into houses, shoplifting, stealing cars, robbing banks, doing all sorts of fun stuff besides just trying to kill people. Because if this was an actual holiday, that is what it would be like. So that's the only thing that I don't like about the series, is that it only focuses on killing and not more on what the average person would do to take advantage of the purge. But aside from that, this definitely did a lot of things right. It expanded more on the purge concept and introduced new ideas like people selling their lives to the rich so that their family can make money, groups of kidnappers going around abducting people for the purge. Of course, you have to worry about the people closest to you, wondering if they're going to try to kill you for cheating on them or not saying hi to them in the hallway. There's a lot that goes on during the purge, so I like that. The only idea that I'm not too fond of is the government involvement. Now, I do like the idea of the government setting things up to give people a reason to kill on purge night. Like, they'll purposely set criminals free just so that someone else can deal with them. But I don't like how everything revolves around the government. I think this would be a lot more fun if it was just about the concept of the purge and how people would react during the purge. Because if the purge really did exist, people would take advantage of that in any way that they can, not just killing people.
Yes, indeed. Somehow I will have to agree with you that the greatest Purge movie of all time is the one that just came out a few weeks ago, The Purge Anarchy. Far and away better on every single aspect that you look for in a movie. Script, plot, character development, depth. I kind of like this thing where at first you kind of follow around the three set of people. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to do. Then somehow they magically find their way to each other to try and stay safe for the night, except for the sergeant. We didn't get a whole lot of character development for the sergeant. I mean, you had Eva, who was a struggling mother. You had Shane, who was the guy who was divorcing his wife, and the poor guy was still in love with his wife. Liz, who was the girlfriend who was just trying to get rid of Shane. I don't know, she seemed like kind of a bitch, but then halfway through she kind of went back on that, so it was a little questionable. And then you had Callie, who was a smart-ass teenager who just talked her way into trouble, even if it was with the sergeant. I thought all these characters, for the most part, were likable. The guy that the sergeant wanted to kill, even that guy was a little bit likable because you could sense the remorse in his voice and in his face and the way that he saved the sergeant in the end of the movie. And I even felt a connection toward him, so I thought this movie did a much better job of that. There were better suspense scenes in this movie, you know, like when the guy who got mad that Eva never said hi to him in the hallway, and I think that's a great reason to kill someone. I think I might kill someone just for that very reason. You know, there's a lot of people that don't say hi to me when I walk by them in the street, so I guess I'll just shoot them. Very well done movie overall. Hit much better on all aspects. Yeah, that was that.
But that just about concludes the Purge movie series review. It seems like the Purge is going to take the place of Saw and Paranormal Activity as one of those movies that continues every year until the fans get sick of it. And I actually wouldn't mind this getting that many sequels because the Purge concept is so broad that they could do anything with it and make any story that they want because there's unlimited possibilities of what they can do with it.
Not necessarily should there be a lot of sequels, but maybe they should make like a series out of this and only leave it for the mature audiences, like something of what a American Horror Story is, where you know you could do that forever and it's just never going to get old because you could just do so much stuff with it. I think The Purge is one of those things that you could just do so much with it that you could turn this into a TV series and it'll be just as great, if not greater.
Yeah, now that I think about it, a TV series would be just as good as having a lot of sequels because they could even do something where each season is actually one night of the Purge, but each episode follows different characters doing different things, and by the end of the season, all their stories connect together. That would be interesting. But so would any other concept they go with. I just love the Purge concept in general, especially because it is my idea. And it does have a lot of potential, no matter what direction they take it in. But that concludes this review. This has been the MT Omar review saying yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Blessed be America, a nation reborn.